Okay. Hi, God. If busybody was a person. Yo! Listen, ladies and gentlemen. I've actually been avoiding saying this season, right? Because you see, I told myself that this season, I don't want to compare any of these housemates to any previous housemate because, you know, from how I have been viewing them, from how I have been experiencing them, these housemates came in their own totally different package, right? So I have been avoiding doing any form of comparison. And if you've been listening to all my videos, guys, I don't think I've ever really done any comparison at all. The only comparison I think I've done was actually done by the housemates inside the house, and so I had to explain it on the outside. But regardless of my resolve this season, I think that there is a comparison, a very striking one though, and it's about none other than Doris. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this season, Doris is Onyeka 2.0. As a matter of fact, I'm going to call her the watered down version of Onyeka. Or should I say the elevated version of Onyeka? I don't even know. But aside the physical attributes, right? Aside the height, of course, because there's a lot of height difference between them. But of course, the body stature and everything. These two, if there's, okay, not just one, oh God, they actually have a lot of things in common. Yes, they do. First one is the gossip. Yup, they have that in common. You see this saying the most derogatory things about people, they both have it in common, yeah? Trying to play mind games, but not necessarily understanding how to really go about it, they have it in common. What else? Oh yes, strolling into the diary room, acting all sanctimonious, you know, putting on this garb of perfection, putting on this garb of, oh my God, I'm the best thing that ever happened to Big Brother. Telling twisted narratives, telling tall tales, blaming everybody except for themselves for whatever wrong they have found themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, they have it in common. And the list goes on and on and on. Oh, the last one. Getting rejected by a man and acting like a woman scorned. They have it in common. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, the list goes on and on and on and on. And it is so funny to even watch, not to talk of thinking about, because every time Doris goes into the diary room, it's a party. It's a party. I'm literally holding a glass of wine or tea, a cup of tea or whatever. Because, see, I'll just sit there like this. Yes, here we go again. I'm always sat like this, like, okay, what's she coming up with today now? Her diary sessions are always very interesting, always very exciting, and I always look forward to it because I know that she's always going to come up with something, and Big Brother is always prepared to call her out on her bullshit. So ladies and gentlemen, she actually did the same thing again today. Doris's diary session was like an interrogation session. She was blabbing. It was for over 45 minutes actually. Yeah, she was going on and on and on and on and blabbing and blabbing and blabbing, and then Big Brother allowed her to vent. And then Brother started with the questions. And by the time the questions were dropping, she was actually doing a great job by defending herself. But you could tell that she knew that Big Brother had clocked her bullshit. And in a way, she was almost sort of going to start blabbing. But then Big Brother had to let her off the hook. So ladies and gentlemen, on this video, we're going to dive into Doris's diary session. The interaction between herself and Big Brother, because it was quite interesting. I'm not gonna lie, it was quite interesting. I just couldn't even be mad at Doris, even if I knew that there were a lot of things that she was saying that was actually a lie, like she was telling blatant lies. Yeah, so we're gonna dig into her diary session, especially her interaction with Big Brother. Now, Thelma also had a diary session, and it was funny, was very interesting, kind of unhinged in a way. However, there was an issue she raised with Big Brother about Victory, and I put out a tweet about it. I'm going to talk more about that on this video. And then there was Faith. Now, this video is going to be too lengthy by the time I get to Faith. So I'm timing myself. If this video goes beyond 20 minutes, then I just might have to do another video about Faith's diary session. Otherwise, I would just, add it to this one. Anyways, all of that said, you are all specially welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Gloria Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah, and I call myself the girl with the tea. Without further ado, let's dive right into the rest of the video. Now, as I mentioned before, Doris came into the diary room, was complaining about everyone except herself. Yeah? Now, remember, the coven of witches has scattered. Sabrina is out of the house. God help her heal quickly. Sultana and Doris, they are loggerheads. They are not on good terms at the moment. They're not friends anymore, basically. And Doris and Gigi Jasmine, who used to be friends, they're not particularly close because Gigi Jasmine sort of betrayed Doris's trust, and Gigi Jasmine is now friends, like best friends with Sultana, even though she still goes around telling the whole world that Sultana snatched Victory from her, or Sultana is what's that word now? Entertaining Victory's advances, that Victory is her ex. Why should Sultana still be entertaining his advances? Although Sultana has tried to talk to her, but that thing is still hanging over their heads. So the coven of witches are scattered, right? And now what Doris is trying to do, basically, every time she comes to the diary room, is she's trying to spin the narrative. She's trying to launder her image. She's trying to reintroduce a new version of herself to us, the viewers, by telling us that, okay, well, if you people used to experience me in week 1 and 2 as a terrible gossip, as a vindictive person, as a mean girl, look at me. I'm a nice person. I'm trying to do justice to the game. I'm trying to be fair, But she's actually doing it the wrong way, because she's spinning narratives to people that are not particularly stupid. I mean, I am a viewer, but I'm not dumb. I actually see through all of these things that these housemates do. And as I see through it, I actually see it, because it's right there, live on TV. So today, she came to the diary room and she was complaining about 2 people in particular, like vehemently complaining about them and saying a lot of trashy things about them. They were Sultana and Jason J. For Sultana, I understand, but Jason J was quite shocking because these 2 people were actually very good friends. They auditioned together. In the first week when Jason J was the head of house, he had chosen Sultana, Doris, as his guest, and he gave her a lot of power, to run the house just as much as he was running the house as head of house. So I was wondering, what the hell is going on? But anyways, about Sultana, Doris has the impression, or this perception about Sultana, that Sultana is slow. She's the weakest link in any group. Before, she said she did not call Sultana the weakest link, but now she's owning it with her full chest. So she said that Sultana is the weakest link, and the reason for her saying that is that Sultana does not pull her weight. And and guys, at this point, I think I'm going to have to agree with Doris a bit, because she's not the only housemate that has said this, right? There's Denari, of course. I mean, it sounds suspicious because she and Denari, they talk together a lot. So you would suspect that, okay, maybe she mentioned it to Denari. Denari had to watch for himself, and then he noticed the same thing. So basically, she is upset with Sultana because she feels like Sultana just enjoys dragging her feet, that Sultana does not really give her all, especially during tasks or games or any other thing that they have to do. That when there's work to be done, Sultana literally just stays relaxed. That for someone that always brags about doing this, doing that, knowing this, knowing that, she was quite shocked that during their last week's wager presentation, Sultana was literally reading verbatim from the paper they gave to her to present. So it's very annoying and frustrating because people like her and some other housemate, they put in a lot of work and dedication into preparing for their wager presentation. But then when it happens that she and Sultana, they are in the same team, Sultana just tends to bring down everybody's spirit. That has gotten to a point where whenever they're having meetings for deliberations and she raises her hand to talk, because she says a lot of gibberish, people just roll their eyes and they're tired already. They don't want to listen to her, because instead of adding impact to the work, she tends to reduce everything. Like, guys, Doris said a lot. And as much as she was not being particularly nice while saying all of these things, guys, I could see her point. And in a way, I kind of suspected that she was actually speaking the truth because something happened this morning. Sultana had gone to Faith to plead with him to help her write her presentation script for their wager task. Now, both of them are not in the same teams, right? But she went to Faith and then she was explaining how, you know, she feels like Doris has been hounding her, trying to put pressure on her, saying no manner of nasty things about her, blah, blah, blah. She was using that as an excuse. So she begged Faith to help her write her script and work on the script with her. Because she's tired of people saying that she's the weakest link. She's tired of people saying that, oh, she doesn't put in her best to work. And I looked at that whole situation and guys, I was quite shocked. I'm going to be frank with all of you. I mean, I know that Faith is smart, so I wasn't really shocked that she went to Faith. But what really shocked me is the fact that, ladies and gentlemen, you think Sabrina can brag. Have you heard Sultana brag? Have you heard Sultana brag? Sultana, one day in a conversation, this was like last week, she said that her father reads a lot. Her father has a massive library of books where he reads and, you know, blah, blah, he's very exposed. That there was one day she wrote something on social media and somebody that knew her late dad saw it and said, oh my God, your writing is so brilliant. I could have easily thought it was your dad that wrote it. That was how good her dad is. She now said that she has read over 7,000 books. Is it 7,000 or 700? Guys, I think I heard 7,000. When she said that, I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? Because, see, I'm not saying she's lying, no, don't get me wrong, but 7,000 books. Now, she did not end there. She proceeded to share an incident that had transpired between herself and Sultana moments before she was summoned to the diary room for a diary session. So, Sultana and Faith were in the garden and they were going over the script that Faith had probably written for Sultana. And we were also gisting about several other things. I don't know. So Doris went for a manuscript that Big Brother had presented to them to assist with more information for their wager. And she was asking for it. It was actually a short script. And Sultana had said she had not read it. So that really aggravated Doris. Because Doris was like, why? What's there? It's not even much. Why haven't you read it? So it was more like Sultana was just reaffirming all of her perceptions about her, that she's probably a dullard or she doesn't know book. Anyways, she asked for it. Sultana was like, let me read it now so that nobody will come and call me the weakest link again. No, I don't want people to come and call me another name again. No, you know, she was just saying things like that. And Doris was like, well, that's your problem. You should have read it. How many things do we have here? So Doris was already irritated before she got into the diary room. So she was firing off by the time she got into the diary room. So she told Big Brother all about that. Big Brother allowed her to continue venting. Now, the final stroke of shade that she fired at Sultana was that she even believed, she was like, oh, Big Brother, I believe that by the time she brings that as script and when we are rehearsing, I'm sure it won't slap. I'm sorry, no shade, but it's not going to slap. I was laughing. I said, hey, Doris, if only you know that the brain box of the house is already assisting Sultana with the script, she just might shock you. She might shock you. I'm sorry I'm laughing so much, guys. It's just that when Doris is talking, you know, she's quite tiny and it's like she's fighting with one invisible object. And she's always looking up like this. I'm like, girl, put your eyes down. Put your eyes down. It's always so funny. Anyways, she moved on to Jason J. In the midst of her talking about Sultana and all of that, she had been sort of throwing shades, you know, at Jason J, mentioning his name. But then she now mentioned that, oh, she almost had an issue with Jason J over intimidation and bullying. I say, how did he get to that, please? So she now started explaining what really caused the situation between herself and Jason J. According to her, Kola addressed Dede's bed. This was last week. So Kola addressed Dede's bed. This was sometime last week. And I think Doris had told Jason that, oh, Kola dressed, what's her name, Dede's bed or something like that. I don't know. I don't even know how Jason got to find out, but he found out. Now, Jason went to Doris, and I don't know if he jokingly said it or if he maliciously said it. I wasn't there. But he went to Doris. According to Doris, he whispered to her that tonight he's going to sleep on Dede's bed. Now, Doris said, initially she wasn't really bothered, but then she was having a conversation much later with Kola and Sabrina, and then the guy was saying some things, and then she realized that, oh my God, if I don't tell this guy what my friend is about to do, I'm not going to be a good person. So she went ahead and told Kola that, oh, this is what Jason told me, and I'm telling you ahead so that you can protect yourself. Use that information to your advantage, you know, protect your heart, protect your mental health, don't get really upset. That was what Doris said though. So she said she told Kola like that, and she told Kola not to tell anybody, but instead, Kola wants to go and tell Bright. Bright told Mide. Mide told Dede. She didn't want to call Dede. She said a certain housemate. Anyways, Mide told Dede. Dede got angry. I went to go and confront Jason. Jason got angry that, how did this news spread? Went to go and confront Doris. Doris said she was so angry. So now Doris was now upset with Jason and Kola. She was calling Kola stupid, dumb, blah, 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 calling him all manner of demeaning names, that the guy is very dumb, he doesn't know anything, he's a useless person, he's a useless bastard. Calling him all sorts of names, that she gave him confidential information. Why would he go and spread it? That he could have told somebody else like Otega or maybe Kuture. I say Kuture, that one that is BBC CNN of the house. So she was so angry because she was like, oh, the fact that Kola told Bright, Kola should have known that Bright would definitely tell the girls, and the girls would definitely confront Jason. That the whole thing just scattered. So apparently, I mean, guys, this is what I deduced, right? Apparently, it was very obvious that first, she was trying to hurt Kola's feelings. The fact that Kola laid that bed and she knew about it and she told Jason J, she knew that Jason would probably want to do something because she knows from week one, having spent time in the HOH lounge with Jason, she knew that there's a tiny little bit competition going on between Jason and Kola over Dede. So she now has already been rejected by Kola. She's upset and she wants to punish Kola. She wants to deal with Kola in every way that she can. So having that information that, oh, Kola dressed Dede's bed, she weaponized it. I don't know how the news went out. Jason heard, and then Jason telling her she wanted to hurt Kola's feelings because Jason told her that information in confidence, right? It was a confidential information. Doris knew that. Doris is not a silly person. She's not dumb. She knows that that information was confidential. But she wanted to hurt Kola's ego. She now went to go and tell Kola in the guise of, oh, I need to use the information to your advantage. I need to protect yourself. It's a lie. She wanted the guy to feel small. So everything that she was trying to achieve by sharing that information with Kola, she was now projecting it on Jason, that Jason wanted to intimidate Kola, he wanted to bully Kola, he wanted to make Kola feel small, that it was an ego problem, that the guy is so mean and he's such a pretentious person, that she was calling Jason all sorts of names. But guess what? Everything that she was calling Jason is who Doris is. Now, at this point, Big Brother had heard enough. And so we started firing her with questions. And guys, listen, this might take some time, but I'm going to have to read the questions verbatim, the way Big Brother asked her, all right? So we started with, did Jason share that information with you in confidence because he considered you a friend? What did she reply? Let me see. Okay, so she said that it was an information that could hurt Kola and she wanted to protect him. What else did she even say? Oh, she said that Jason was trying to trample on Kola's ego, and she felt like that was quite petty and malicious, and he was acting like a bully, that Kola had been through a lot, and she cared about her friends. So she did the right thing. That even if the reverse was the case, that is, if Kola was the one that did the same thing, she was also going to tell Jason. And guys, I was just laughing because you and I know that this trauma that she said Kola had been traumatized. She was the one that traumatized Kola by claiming that Kola led her on. Kola made her feel like he wanted to date her in the house. You know that whole shenanigan that happened in week 1. Yeah. Big Brother's next question to her was, he said, did you raise your concerns with Jason in such a passionate manner? Because she was speaking passionately. So Big Brother asked her if she raised it with Jason. So her response was that at the time, she did not really care. But then later on, she realized that no, this is not good. This is not nice. So she has to actually report to Kola that it was in a conversation she was having with Sabrina that the guy was talking, and she realized that the guy had been through a lot that week. So she had to just tell the guy. But now she's very disappointed in Kola because Kola is a very stupid and dumb person. Why will he go and use information that she gave him in confidence to protect himself? Why will he go and share it with people? She was just dragging Kola. Big Brother asked another question. He said, why did you feel betrayed when Kola confided in his friend Bright Morgan? Valid question. Because your friend Jason confided in you about something. You went and took the information and gave it to another person. Now that person gave the information to somebody else, and now you are moving mad. You are angry. You're moving crazy because you felt that person betrayed you. Oh, that's the word. She said Kola betrayed her trust. Just said you're saying the person betrayed. Like, what's the rationale? Are you okay? What did she say? She said Kola messed up. That Kola was supposed to use that information to protect himself and not to tell it to Bright because he knew that Bright was going to tell Mide, Mide was going to tell Dede, that Kola fucked up. Hey God, guys, it was crazy. Big Brother asked another question. Biggie said, after sharing the information a friend gave you in confidence, do you think it was in your place to dictate to the friend that, do you think it's in your place to dictate the friend Kola told? In other words, the same thing you did is the same thing Kola did. So why are you angry about the particular person Kola shared that information with? Because you can't dictate. You did not give Jason J the same grace. And she said, it doesn't matter that Kola should have told somebody like Ortega. Ortega was not going to go and tell Dede or Mide, but Bright was definitely going to tell them. So now she feels like she is entitled to who Kola should have shared that information with. And guys, I'm just looking at this guy like, are you okay? Like, Doris is not okay. Big Brother asked a last question. He said, but you said you didn't care if he got back to Jason. And she said, that before she cared though, but now she doesn't care anymore. In other words, Doris was busy contradicting herself in that diary session. And guys, it was hectic. It was hectic. Oh Lord, it was hectic. See, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the diary session because Doris was just making a fool of herself. Yeah, she was making a fool of herself. She was lying a lot. She was omitting a lot of information. She was just, oh God, she was just being ridiculous here. But I'm going to leave it at that because I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I would love to hear your thoughts about that in the comment section below, all right? Now, quickly, on to Thelma. I'm going to keep this one really short because this video is already too lengthy. Thelma's diary session, she was upset that she and Victory had a brief disagreement early this morning. We did not see it, happen. I think it was in the bathroom area. And she said, she told him, look at you, you lack self-control. So she insulted him in the heat of the moment. You lack self-control. And the guy retaliated by saying, oh, I lack self-control, but you that have self-control, are you not the one that has one at home? In other words, you say I lack self-control, but you think you lack self-control, but you are a single mother. You have a child out of wedlock, So that thing really pained her. And then she was not saying that, that being a mother is a superpower, that she lost her mom and then she had a child. She did not think she would have the strength to take care of her baby, but that's her superpower and nobody can make her feel guilty about it. And it's not easy to be a single mother. As she was talking, I was looking at her like this. And I thought I should come and ask you amazing people in my community. Ladies and gentlemen, what does Glory Elijah say about tit for tat? Huh? I want to know if you guys have been paying attention in class. What does Glory Elijah say about matching energy for energy? In case you've forgotten, I'll tell you again. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot dictate the reaction of an action you dish out to someone. if you call somebody a bastard, if that person decides to punch your face, my sister, my brother, that is the reaction you get for calling somebody a bastard. You cannot dish out toxicity and then you want to dictate how the recipient should react to that toxicity that you dished out to them. No. People's level of madness is different. People's level of tolerance is different. People's triggers are different. Imagine Thelma questioning Victory's personality, his character, saying that he lacks self-control. Do you know what it means to tell a human being that he lacks self-control? Not even talk about telling a man that he lacks self-control in such a confined space as Big Brother's house. Do you know what that means? Also looking at the fact that Victory currently has a triangle ongoing with different girls in the house. So you say you lack self-control. Do you know how much shit that rubs off on Victory's character as a human being? And so the guy actually fired you back. Well, if you had self-control, you would not be a single mother. If you had self-control, you would not have a child at home. Where is the lie? Pray tell, where is the lie? Because it takes self-control for some of these things to be normal or abnormal. I'm not saying that being a single mother is abnormal, but you cannot have shit on your face and then you are laughing at somebody else that, look at you, you have shit in your face. Look at you, you have something in your eyes. And you see, that's my problem with Thelma. Thelma is a very, very delightful character to watch in the house sometimes. But then other times, I've said this time and time again, that Thelma almost never has a valid reason to fight anybody in the house. But the moment she wakes up in the morning and decides that she wants to pick a fight with someone, she would go and start looking for how to gather shit, gather dust and all whatnot to attack that person's integrity or that person's character in the house. And that was exactly what she did to Victory. And since morning, she's been doing it. She's been telling anybody that cares to listen in the house that Victory attacked her for being a single mother. She came to the diary room. She said the same thing. And, you know, it really pained me why Big Brother did not address her the way I am saying it right now. That you cannot attack people and then you are upset when they react. No! You should prepare yourself. Since you feel like you're a Voltron, that you have every right to attack people, when they attack you back, don't cry. It's called aura for aura. Fire for fire. Tit for tat. Don't cry. Chest it up and take it as a woman that you are, because you want to show everybody that you have power. Take it. Woo. Ladies and gentlemen, see, I don't know if you all have noticed that this past few videos I have done, it's been kind of stress-free, but it seems like this one is giving me both joy and stress at the same time. As I was talking right now, I felt like my wig was shifting behind. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking right now because I would love to hear your thoughts about this Thelma's situation with Victory. So please share, and I'll see you guys on another video. On another video, I'm going to talk about Faith's diary session. This video is already too lengthy. So see you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day. Bye.